How's it going, everyone? This is Daniel. In this video, we are going to be talking about Tesla stock and the overall stock market. We saw extreme volatility with the overall stock market. We're going to be talking about what to expect for Tesla stock and the overall market next week. We might potentially see this extreme volatile moves continuing into next week. So we're going to be talking about what to watch out for, what are some important headlines that we saw this week for Tesla and also for the overall stock market. So make sure you stay tuned. We're going to be talking about all this important information coming up. As you can see over here, we have Tesla stock that's sitting at $650.28. We're up 1.72% for the day, so it was relatively good compared to what we saw yesterday. But when you look at it in 5 days, it seems like we've seen extreme ups and extreme downs, but as you can see for the week, we're only down 2.59%. So we saw an extreme rally happening when the Fed interest rate hikes, and they specifically stated that they could potentially be doing the same thing on the next rate hike, basically raising interest rates by 75 basis points. Even though they stated that, the stock market rallied and Tesla stock rallied with it, and we got close to $700. At one point, we actually went above $700, and then the next day, we went down significantly. We went below 650, but right now we are definitely sitting at a key price point level that we're watching, which is around $650. But let's go over and look at what happened with the overall stock market today. So it was relatively flat. We had some sectors that are aggressively sold off. In turn, we have energy stocks that sold off aggressively. We have Tesla stock that's up, Amazon that bounced back, Google, Microsoft, Apple. At least some stocks tried to recover from the aggressive sell-off that we saw on yesterday. So let's go over and look at the price action for Tesla stock. So we were looking at the key price point level like $650 on yesterday's video, on the previous day video. When we saw this extreme rally, we talked about, okay, we've seen this kind of similar thing happening in the past. We get very excitement bullish move happen, and then the next day, we see an aggressive sell-off. That's exactly that we saw also yesterday. So we got super excited when the Fed interest rate hikes, and then eventually the second day we aggressively sold off. We gapped down eventually. So Tesla, at least we finished above the key price point level that we're watching around $650. We're watching another support area which was around 620. We kind of tested it a little bit, but we did not even go there. So that was relatively pretty good. When you look at the overall stock market too, we saw that, okay, we're seeing this extreme move happen in the past, on when the Fed announced the interest rate hikes. We went up significantly, and then the next day eventually we gapped it down and sold off aggressive, and today we relatively stayed flat. So the key price point levels that we're watching are definitely acting as a very strong support in the short term. We're watching at around $665 area, which is right around over here, and also we had a gap that was potentially could be filled if we actually continued the rally, but unfortunately that did not happen. So a lot of people were not really surprised that we aggressively sold off yesterday. As I mentioned, we saw these kind of things happen in the past when the Fed raises interest rates, and then we see an aggressive buying happening, and then the next day we just lose it completely, and then even go down aggressively to the downside. So we'll see. So next week on Wednesday, Fed Chair Jerome Powell is going to be talking about monetary policy and going over and testifying in the Senate Banking Committee. So that's going to be really interesting to watch what he has to say. And also, another important thing that we're watching also for Tesla stock too is that Tesla, they raised their prices, which was really not a surprise in a way, because a lot of things have been going up. Inflation has gone up significantly, and there has been a lot of issues, supply chain issues, and also there has been a lot of lockdown that's been happening. The demand has been increasing significantly, so Tesla is definitely inclined to potentially to raise their prices. So that was not a big surprise, because everything has gone up significantly. So that was not a big surprise when it comes to Tesla. So now let's go over and talk about exactly what are some key price point levers to watch out for next week, what to expect for the overall market, and so on. So also, before we talk about that, we know Tesla owns Bitcoin in its balance sheet. As you can see, Bitcoin has been aggressively selling off. At one point, it tested around $20,073. A lot of people are speculating, okay, we might break below $20,000 pretty soon. And based off of the massive decline that we saw, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually go below $20,000 during this weekend, but we'll see. but the crypto market has been aggressively selling off. But let's go over and look at what to expect for Tesla stock and the overall stock market for next week. So for next week, we are going to be expecting some of the volatility to definitely continue because we are getting a lot of different headlines. The market is still digesting what the Fed had said. Even though the Fed did not indicate anything that can help the overall stock market, they actually stated that they could potentially be increasing interest rates again, with the same type of interest rate hikes coming up, depending upon the data that we're going to be getting about the core CPI inflation. So going into next week, we are expecting it to potentially have some form of volatility, but I expect Tesla stock to be trading between 620 to 700. So we have a very strong support at 620. So I don't believe that Tesla stock could potentially be dipping below $600, but you never know. But we have a strong support at 620. So let's talk about also the overall stock market, what to expect for the overall stock market going into next week. So we are at a very critical price point level that we're watching, which is around $362 to $65. The low that we made was around $362. So if next week we continue this downtrend momentum that we're on right now, we might break below it. But as I mentioned, everything's going to be dependent upon on Wednesday what Jerome Powell is going to be saying about monetary policy and testifying exactly, some of the important things that is definitely having issues with the overall economy and with inflation. So that is going to be another important thing to watch out for Wednesday. So overall, we could be breaking below if we continue the trend. We're in a very aggressive downtrend right now, unfortunately. And based off of what the Fed had to say when they rate interest rate hikes, they did not say anything positive that can help the stock market in the short term. So that is unfortunate. So I think that there might be some more selling off that could happen. We're in a bear market. We might continue to sell off and bottom out. So for June, I think we can still see some downside momentum, but July historically has been more positive, and we might potentially recover in July. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think about what's going on with interest rate hikes, the overall stock market? We've seen this extreme volatility that happened, and did you get spooked up by this massive move that we saw, and also this huge gap down? We talked about it on our previous video that we were kind of expecting that this kind of price action could happen. But let me know in the comments below if you're surprised, anything like that. I'd love to hear your opinion. And of course, if you're new to the channel, to make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notification bell. But I catch you guys on another video. Have a wonderful day.